Hello, welcome to this mini course in learning the basics of hypnosis for therapeutic uses. So my name's Glen Mitchell. My colleague here is Knox,
Oh,
and we're the teaching team from the Freedom Formula Hypnotherapy Academy. Now, I trained in hypnotherapy around 8 years ago. I've been doing it as my full-time job for actually exactly 5 years today. I've only just realized that. How exciting. Exactly 5 years today. And this is my absolute passion. I love hypnotherapy more than anything else that I could possibly have ever thought. So that's my little intro to me with a little love-in for hypnotherapy. So, Roz, tell us a wee bit about you.
I've been a hypnotherapist for around 8 years now. I first discovered hypnotherapy about 10 years ago. Again, like you say, Glenn, it's my absolute passion. The reason I love it so much is because it completely changed my life when I first went for hypnotherapy. I realized it was so amazing that I just had to learn so that I could help other people with this amazing skill. So here we all are years later, still absolutely in love with hypnotherapy and passing it on to more people. It needs to be spread further wide.
It certainly does. And actually, as you mentioned that, it does make me realize that's quite unusual. People that are like 8 years post-training and been doing it professionally in that time, still loving the thing they do. Wouldn't you ever hear that in any profession?
Quite rare,
I'm
isn't it? I
counting
don't
lots of
think
things
any
now.
other job I've had has still had that much enjoyment 8 years in.
So what we're teaching in this first video is the basics of a hypnotic induction. And that's basically, what do you say to get a person into that hypnotic state? And so just very quickly, before I sort of take you through a nice, basic, simple induction, I just want to talk just for a moment about what is the hypnotic state? What actually is it? Is it some mystical, strange thing? Is it some sort of magic trick? Or is it just something that our mind can naturally do that we are actually utilizing? Of course, the answer is the last one, just for the avoidance of any doubt. Roz, what's the example that you always give to people when you're explaining hypnotherapy, hypnosis to people?
I always ask someone if they drive, and if they do, I would ask them, have you ever driven from A to B, somewhere you drive all the time, and wondered to yourself, oh, I don't remember that roundabout. Why are those lights red? And you've got to where you are, where you're going, but you can't really remember parts of or most of the journey. And that's because you've taken yourself into a form of self-hypnosis. Because your brain is so clever, you can drive a vehicle that could potentially kill you or somebody else if you weren't paying attention. Yet you can go off in your own mind and wonder whether you lock the door or you put the washing machine on or what you're going to cook for tea. But I bet that you did watch at that roundabout and went when it was safe. I bet that that traffic light was green. Your brain was paying attention perfectly to exactly what was going on around you. You were still fully in control of yourself and driving a vehicle, yet your brain is so marvelous. Simultaneously, it had wandered off somewhere else. So hypnosis is very, very similar in the fact that you're still 100% in control of your own body. You still know where you are, you still know what you're doing. You're not going to be stuck in it or be made to do something that you wouldn't normally do. You can't be made to divulge any deep, dark secrets. You're still fully in control of yourself the whole time. Yet, with the aid of hypnotherapy, with the aid of a hypnotherapist, you're then able to go off to a place in your mind where you can make the changes to your life that you need to. That's why it's so incredible.
It certainly is. So let's look at then the basics of a nice, simple, basic hypnotic induction that we can all have a practice of. And so what we've decided is we're going to use a bit of a hybrid of the first two inductions most people teach. So most people will teach the progressive muscle relaxation induction. And that's exactly as it sounds. You start either at the toes or at the top of the head. I much prefer starting at the top of the head. And you just suggest to the clients that they start to relax each muscle group in turn. So allow your scalp to start to relax, let it work its way down the forehead, down the jawline, and you just keep talking down the muscle groups. Now, one of the reasons why this is such a good first induction to learn is because it's easy to follow, because just think about your own body. And so when you're talking the client through it, just think about your own muscles, where you would tense and relax them as you're given the suggestions for relaxation. And no, you don't have to get every muscle group or anything like that. It's actually just about getting the client's focus on something that allows them to let go of the outside world for a few minutes. So they're focusing on your voice and they're focusing on their body. And the other induction that people often teach first is called the pacing and leading induction. And the way that this works is you basically bring a person's awareness to something that's already happening in the body. And then you use that to suggest some other things that can happen, like the relaxation that we often start with. And so the simplest example of that would be is become aware of your breathing. Notice the rise and fall in your chest and abdomen as you breathe in and you breathe out. And then you might stay with that for a minute or two, just saying to them, notice the breathing in, notice the breathing out. Notice when you breathe out, the air's a little warmer. And then once you've paced for a little bit, you start to lead, and you may say something along the lines of, now when you breathe in, you're breathing in relaxation. And when you breathe out, you're breathing out tension. So let yourself actually feel that. As you breathe in, feel your body relax. As you breathe out, let the tension leave. I need to make it clear, by the way, the things that I'm doing with my hands, totally irrelevant. Got nothing to do with the hypnosis. I just use a lot of talking hands. I just thought I should say that because people quite often ask, oh, what am I supposed to be doing here on my hands? Oh, nothing, that's just me. So yeah, it's just a simple case of, breathing in a nice, relaxed feeling, breathing out any tension you've been holding on to. And so the way we're going to combine those two inductions into one really simple but really powerful induction is to use exactly that pacing and leading that we just talked about, and then lead it into a progressive muscle relaxation. Now, one thing that you see a lot of people do is they do a really long, slow, progressive muscle relaxation. And it can actually get a wee bit boring, especially if you get really relaxed really quickly. And if you kind of start going into hypnosis really quickly, it can actually get kind of boring. And it's one of those things whereby if we sort of learn early on to use really long and slow inductions, we find it really hard then to move to slightly quicker ones. And so we thought we'd help you skip the middleman. We would teach you the effective, faster induction now, because it'll also give you much more confidence in your ability to get hypnosis with a person. So the induction itself, I'll talk you through it as sort of as if I'm doing it. So allow yourself to become aware of your breathing. Notice the rise and fall in your chest and abdomen as you breathe in and you breathe out. Allow yourself to notice the cool air as it goes down the back of the throat. Notice that when you breathe out, the air is slightly warmer than when you breathe in, warmed up by the body heat. Just allow yourself to notice whatever sensations you can notice with each breath. Notice just whereabouts the ribs expand and contract. And then as you follow your breathing, you're not breathing in any special way. As you follow your breathing, allow yourself now to breathe in a good, calm, relaxed feeling. Breathe out any tension you've been knowingly or unknowingly holding on to. Breathe in, good, relaxed feeling. Breathe out any tension. And just allow yourself now to notice your scalp starting to relax. Notice your jawline becoming loose and soft. Teeth are unclenched. Notice your shoulders just starting to loosen up. Feel that wonderful feeling of relaxation working its way down through your core, down your arms to the tips of your fingers, down through your legs to the tips of your toes. And just allow yourself to feel heavy, comfortable, and deeply relaxed. And that's it. That's it for the induction. That's the whole damn thing. There's nothing clever or complicated or even weird about it. It is a really simple process. And you'll find these processes in mindfulness. You'll find them in yoga. They might not put them together in the same way. They do them in a different way for a different purpose. But these practices are always creating a meditative state. And actually, the hypnotic state and the meditative state are very, very close to one another. The only real difference is, to my understanding of it, I have trained in mindfulness and in a couple of types of yoga, believe it or not. And my understanding of meditation is that we're kind of looking to just create space, whatever that means. Doesn't mean we're looking to stop the mind thinking or anything like that. We're just looking to create space, a free space for the mind to really sort itself out. Whereas in hypnosis, it's very specific. We're guiding it in specific ways, specific places. And so we've got the benefit of the meditative state, plus the specificity. I knew I was going to get that word wrong. The specificity, now it sounds wrong, I've said it too many times, of the hypnosis itself. So the specificness, that is not a word. The first word I said is the right word, but I can't make it sound okay. Just amuse myself. Has anybody got any questions on that?
How long should it take overall,
So
taking somebody into hypnosis?
the quickest hypnotic induction that I know takes about 3 seconds. The longest one I know takes about 30 minutes. It takes, I'm going to sound like a builder now, it takes as long as it takes. What we're essentially doing as we're guiding a person in hypnosis is we're looking for some signs and cues of hypnosis. Roz, what do you look for when you're doing a hypnotic induction to get an idea that someone might be in hypnosis?
So hypnosis isn't sending someone to sleep. I just wanted to purposefully add that in. Although hypnosis is the Greek word for sleep, and a lot of hypnotists you'll see say sleep, we're not sending anybody to sleep. So the signs of hypnosis to know that someone's still within that fully controlled state yet in hypnosis would be things like you would see them gradually relaxing. You would see their muscles dropping. You might see the eyelids begin to flutter. You might see someone's head drop forwards or to the side or back. You might see their skin flush. There's lots of tiny little cues that if you look out for, you can tell that someone's still listening, still paying attention, yet they've gone into that gorgeous hypnotic state. And it's very magical. You'll get to know, with practice, you'll get to know whether you've unfortunately, unintentionally sent someone to sleep, which would be more likely if you were to do a really, really long, drawn out induction. That's not the goal. That's not the goal, because the relaxation is a byproduct of it, not the main focus. The main focus is for someone to be in this beautiful state of awareness that you can then help them with their thoughts and their feelings and all that sort of thing, without sending them off too far into la la land that they're not even listening, which is lovely in its own way. If you were to do a sleep hypnosis, for example, that may well be your intention. If it's a specific recording that someone can listen to get to sleep, that can be done on purpose, but it's not the main aim.
And giving a more direct answer to your initial question, when I do a hypnotic induction with people, I guess that it averages between about 2 and 5 minutes when I'm working with the client. And it doesn't need any longer than that. If it takes longer than that, it's fine. It doesn't need any longer than that. But it's something to practice and play with. But as I say, a lot of people, they think they have to be much longer on this initial part. But exactly what Roz said is the aim is hypnosis, not to get a person so relaxed they can fall asleep. And we get there a lot quicker than we realize. Any other questions on that, guys? So
it's very clear.
Once we've got a person in hypnosis, we want to guide them back out. Now, again, being really clear, you can't get stuck in hypnosis. If you put a person in hypnosis and then you left them there, they would open their eyes within a couple of minutes. Within a couple of minutes of not hearing the hypnotist's voice, they would just open their eyes. Unless they had got super relaxed, they could fall asleep. But other than that, there's not really anything else. There's no getting stuck in hypnosis. There's no being in hypnosis if the hypnotist stops talking to you or anything like that. But there is a best way to get people out of hypnosis so that they come out in a way that feels good, basically. We get them into hypnosis in a way that feels good. So it's only right that we get people out of hypnosis in a way that feels good. And the simplest way to get a person out of hypnosis is a simple count out. Just a simple count out. So a really nice, simple, basic example of that, and we don't need to go any further than that today, is in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. With each number that I say, let yourself become gradually more aware of the room that you're in. And when I reach 5, you can open your eyes, bring your attention back in the room, and I usually drop a little suggestion in here and let yourself feel fantastic. And then it's just a case of 1, 2, 3. Well, you know how to count to 5. 4. And when you're ready, open your eyes and feel fantastic. 5. Now, I always click my fingers on that. You absolutely do not need to. It's just one of those things that I like to do. Half the time, it doesn't even come across on Zoom. So people can't even hear it half the time. But it is just the count out that matters. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you're ready, open your eyes, feel fantastic. 5. And it is that simple. There is nothing complicated about the count out. I mean, you can even just say to somebody, right, when I say the word potato, you're going to open your eyes, come out of hypnosis. Potato. But again, that can be strange and jarring if you've just done therapy with a person. You want to give the mind a couple of moments to bring itself back and to know what's happening. But for the purpose of today, it would work just fine. But let's just stick with the count out. Any questions on that?
And would you take that a little bit slower if you've done a session with somebody that's gone through? You've had I don't know what's the best way to say it. I want to say a bit of a troubled session. So if that person's had some trauma, let's say, that you've been helping work through, would you take a little bit extra time to bring that person back to here and now before they open their eyes? Or
so in terms of like if we've been doing some deep work with some deep trauma stuff and things like that, what it tends to be is once you've done that, you might take a little bit longer to relax them, to get them into a calm state where the nervous system is soothed, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you've done that work, you might do some soothing work before you even get to the release. But By the same token, when you do the release, you could also put a few suggestions in between the numbers. So it can just be 1, feeling lovely and relaxed as you start to bring your awareness to the surface. 2, getting more and more comfortable as you bring your attention back into the room. 3, feeling calm, feeling good, feeling relaxed, feeling chill. 4, getting ready now to gently open your eyes, gently bring your awareness back in the room and feel really good. 5, open your eyes.
Yeah.
So as I say, you don't need to remember any of that for today.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's quite a few different ways we can extend it if we need to. But yeah, you guys don't need to practice that today. So
No,
don't
no.
worry too much
Yeah.
about that stuff. Okay, any more questions on that, guys? Rose, is there anything else you want to add before we finish video 1 and give these guys a chance to practice?
Don't think so at the moment. I think let's have a little practice and then see if there's any questions come up from doing it.
Fabulous. And if you are watching this on the course, those questions will be answered in video 2.